what if we're contagious? What if we're
Oh, I know it.
contagious? So we came back a little sooner than we planned, and on the way back, Martina, my wife, and Kaya, my eldest daughter, were able to get tested and tested negative. So it's like, okay, I guess we were all right.
Well, all of a sudden, my next door neighbors have it, and I was going to bring the dog to Big Room today, and they called the whole thing is all shut down because they all have it. My grandson has it. Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people we know are getting testing positive.
Yep.
So,
well, at least it doesn't seem very severe, so that's good. Get it over with.
yeah.
And then your antibodies are to the moon, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess that is right. So,
I mean, I didn't like the first variants because you could very well lose your taste of smell and taste. I would not have liked that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just remind, I know I had told John that Marlene, our clerk, has now resigned from the town.
Right.
So you are going to unfortunately be responsible for your own minutes.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll take some notes.
It doesn't have to be a verbatim transcript as long as you have the time the meeting open, close, the motion, who made it, etc.
Right.
That's sufficient enough. And I believe there's a format now that the town clerk's office needs us to follow. So
Okay.
I'll email that to you tomorrow.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. And then just, again, you either send them to me and then I can send them on to get posted with the town.
Okay, that sounds great.
Thanks. And we do
Appreciate it.
Our applicant is here whenever you're called to order and want me to move them over.
Okay. Do we know which applicant we have today?
This is for 119. No, I'm sorry. This is for 19 Britton Lane. This is the roof repair.
Okay. Sterling's.
Yes, Sterling. Yep.
Okay. We'll give another moment or so, and I see Carol has joined us. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
And Tom
So
is
Carol, I saw you were in a bicycle accident.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, actually.
Yikes! What happened?
I'm not exactly sure because I had a concussion and have no memory of the actual fall, but it was on Neck Road where they repaved, and so there are subgrade utilities, and I think I hit one of those and just went down, sort of ace dive. Yeah, so I had fractures in my skull and the bone between my eye and my nose and stitches, and that's the bad news. The good news is none of the bones in my body were broken, and I'm recovering really well. That was like December 1st. So.
Oh,
okay.
No,
Wow. All right.
I don't know where. I read it last week and I can't remember what was it in the paper.
I put a little letter in the source about.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes.
Thanking everyone who helped me. Yeah.
Were you by yourself when it happened, or?
Yep. And I had a helmet on, but I've since learned that helmets, protect you, but don't prevent concussions. And so, yeah, I mean, you could see where I had stitches was right where my helmet hit my head.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing much better, and sorry to hear it happens.
Yeah.
So, all right. All right, why don't we call this meeting to order? It is 7:01 p.m. on December 28th. The Madison Historic District Commission is being called to order. For the benefit of the recording, if everyone could state their name. John Lind.
Susan Cartledge.
Tom Boyle.
Carol Snow.
Eric Berg.
Okay, great. Is that Dean Sterling? Is that you? You're on mute.
Oh, I'm on mute.
There you go. Now I hear you.
Nope. I'm just being very quiet.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, the first first application on our agenda for tonight is 19 Brighton Lane. So if you would like to talk us through what you're proposing, that would be fantastic.
Great, great. Thank you very much. So my wife and I have owned this house, 19 Brighton Lane, for about a year and a half. And over the summer, we realized that we had a leak coming in. It basically has two porches. It has a porch that comes off the front of the house to the side. And then I guess there was an addition a number of years ago. So there's another second roof on this porch that was expanded. And we have basically 3 leaks that are coming into the main porch from the roof. And I've got a small leak that's actually working its way from the front of the house into the parlor. So as we're looking at this, we're looking at the large porch. This is what's facing us. This is the Cops Road side. And there are basically 2 structures. There's an old porch to the left side that wraps around the front. And then there's a second porch that was added, again, some years ago. That's exactly correct. So I've got leaks right now on both sides. I contacted several different contractors, but I've used Mike Bassler of Experior here in town. And he came out and assessed the situation and said, we've got rolled roofing, which is currently in place. And he said, Dean, if we're going to replace the rolled roofing, we're going to have to use 8-inch flashing. That's the way you do it. And he said it might mean that we have to make modifications to the windows and possibly the siding, which my wife and I do not want to do. I said, what is the alternative? Because there's about 4 inches of clearance between these old windows and the existing roof. He said, as an alternative, he said, I spoke with my GAF certified, I guess a roofer or the supplier. And he said, we have a special shingle that we can use, replacing the rolled roofing with asphalt shingles. And it would require only a 4-inch flash. And that way you don't have to make any modifications to the windows and or the siding, which my wife and I are adamant we do not want to do. So the proposal is, and I went to Maria and Maria said, okay, we're replacing rolled roofing with asphalt shingles. It's different. We need to go to the committee. And so and this is what we're proposing. We're replacing basically the rolled roofing with now shingles and the asphalt shingles. And that's basically the proposal that's on the table. What he also proposes is to take off actually all of the roofing. I don't know whether there's 1 or 2 layers on it, but he wants to get down to the wood. It's pretty soft and punky now in a few different places. So his proposal is to replace down to the rafters, all of the plywood, and put in new fascia, and then put in the Grace water shield, which is a thick membrane on top of all of that structure, and then lay down these new shingles and make sure it's properly flashed and sealed. So that's the proposal that's on the table. But the reason I'm here is because we're changing, what we'd like to do is we'd like to change the rolled roofing to a shingle. It is a change, but I think that, again, based on the view, because of the pitch, it's 2 or 3 degrees. I don't think that a lot of people are going to recognize the difference, but because it is something different. That's why it's come to this commission.
Okay. Quick question: the main roof of the house, the upper roof, what kind of roofing is that?
That is also a GAF shingle, and that was put down, I believe, 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I happen to know that because my parents owned the house at that time.
I was going to ask you that if you were related to them.
Yes,
because-
to George and Phyllis
Yes.
Sterling bought the house in the late 90s and did an extensive, they did a beautiful renovation to this old home.
Yes,
Right.
I remember them.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you
sadly-
just a little anecdote. When we first had conversation about building a new high school, the people across the street had a little neighborhood meeting to bring someone from the town in to explain the changes. And the fellow said to your father, because of course this was a long time ago, you and your wife are the elders here, and you are in favor of this building. Can you tell me why? And your father said, by all means, we're willing to build a tree we'll never sit under. And it almost brought me to tears.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, no, my mother fell in love with this place, and I think my father thought, you're out of your mind. It needs too much work. But it was really about the view. And my wife and I, when my mother passed, sadly, many years ago, and then my father passed, it was about 10 years ago. And I was handling the estate, and I remember selling the property. My mother always said, keep this in the family. And, I had three daughters in college, and it was one of those things where I thought, it would be a dream to buy it back. And we were fortunate to be able to buy it back. So
Yeah, there was a family by the name of Kelly who lived there.
that's correct.
Is that
That's
who you bought
correct.
from? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we
Well,
bought it back from the Kellys. So
Good for you. That's great.
Very, very happy to be here. And frankly, I'm a purist. I'm looking at everything and I'm saying, okay, don't want to change the molding, but I can tell you I need some paint inside. So the colors are a little different, but here we are talking about the roof. So I know a lot about this house because my parents did a lot of work on this house.
Mhm.
What is the look of the roof that was replaced 20 years ago? Is it comparable to what you're now proposing on the new shingles?
It is. It's a gray shingle. It's the same manufacturer. I mean, at least Mike told me, he looked at the shingles up top and he said, if we go with the GAF, he said, I think that's the shingle that's in place. And we're going to go with the gray, and it will have the same weave. But when I tell you that, he said a lot of people aren't going to notice because gray is gray, and because of the profile, they're going to see just a thicker roofing than what they see right now with the roll.
Mhm.
And he said, so that's, again, I discussed this with Maria, and she said, okay, it is a change because technically we're leaving the rolled and we're going to the shingle. But that, I think that's basically the difference here. But knowing that GAF, I mean, Mike Bassler is a certified installer of GAF. We've got a long-term, I guess, a lifetime warranty on it, this product, because of the way he's going to install it. And, I think it's going to outlast, I think it'll probably outlast the upper roof. And I know when my parents put that upper roof on, I think they did a 50 or 60-year roof because they didn't want to be bothered. And I think maybe they were thinking it was going to stay in the family for a long time. So that roof is nowhere near being replaced. And when we did the housing inspection, everybody commented on the good work that the architect and the builder, Skip Broom, did all the work on the building itself and did a lot of the renovation work. So house is in good shape except for the porch. I'm concerned about the porch, and I'm concerned more about water getting in and damaging really some very old beams.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think what's being proposed is actually from my point of view, is a good solution. The rolled roofing is not particularly attractive. It's functional, but it's not particularly attractive. So the shingles will be much more attractive. And if you and your roofer are confident that you're going to get the kind of wear you need on a low slope roof with that material, I would defer to your roofer on his expertise. I think getting the color to pretty much match, I think is great. And I agree, it is such a low profile that people are hardly going to notice the change. But anyone who does see the roof will see that the shingle roof is going to look better than the rolled roofing that's up there, even if it was a brand new rolled roofing.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
visually, it'll look better and it'll fit the house better. So I think it's a great solution. I personally have no concerns about this. Anyone else have any thoughts or questions about this?
Yeah, I agree with you, John. I think it's obviously an improvement. There's nothing attractive at all about rolled roofing. I've got it on my house on a porch and would love to get rid of it, honestly. So yeah,
Yes,
couldn't
I
agree
agree.
more. And it'll be just fine. And Dean, how are you? It's good to see you again.
I agree as well.
Okay. Yeah, and Dean, I just, offhand, I was part of the study committee that when we created the first historic district in Madison, which includes your property, and your father was part of that study committee and helping getting us going in the early days of this. And I remember him being a very nice man. So
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
There are people that have actually come by. I had the chimney done, or I had the chimney, let's just say swept. It was cleaned. It hadn't been cleaned in a while. And the gentleman comes to the door and he said, I've been to this house before. And I said, well, how long ago? And he said, there was a nice old man who used to bring me out every single year. And I said, that nice old man was my father. And he said, oh my God, because
Yeah.
my father loved to burn. He started burning in October. And this guy cleaned the chimney every single year for as long as my father was alive. And so I've had some stories with people who remember that nice old man who used to sit on the porch
Yeah.
and watch stuff go by. And I was, I'm just
Oh, I
proud.
know we walked our dogs and he would sit out there and he'd wave. Nice day
Yeah.
to walk the dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, very special. This is a very special property, and my wife and I are looking forward to, certainly maintaining it. And I'm not going to bring up the barn, but the barn needs to be resited. We may have another conversation about that, but we're planning
we're
on
happy to
redoing
discuss
that.
it.
Yeah, we're
So,
going to redo
Dean,
that. but
I'm sorry, I missed, when did you move into the house?
It was about a year and a half ago.
A year ago. Okay.
Yeah. And so we're we got to renovate some things. And, when this came up, I wasn't expecting this, but when this came up, it became very important because I just don't want water in the house because it is really an old house.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
You want to
All
call
right.
for a vote, John?
Yeah, if someone like to make a motion?
I move that we approve the application as stated.
Second?
Okay, Eric. All right. I think it's pretty clear. We're voting to approve the change to the asphalt roof as detailed in the application from the current rolled roofing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous and you are approved. Dean, thank you
Great,
very
thank
much for coming before us and talking through this. And it's a pleasure meeting you. And we're glad that the house is back in your family's hands again.
No, and
Good luck.
thank you very much. And some very, very kind words this evening. So thank you all for that. And, I'm looking forward to taking really good care of this property.
We know
Happy
you will.
holiday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. All right. Next thing, let's see. Yes, the condensing unit for 506 Boston Post Road. Let's see.
Oh, did you just, okay.
Let's see, that's not what I want to look at. Where is it?
I was just getting ready to share it. I'm like, wow, I did that fast.
Yeah, right. Somehow I shared the wrong one though. Let's see.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a,
2 boxes.
Okay, well, that's weird because it's not showing up on my screen. All right, but as long as you guys can see it, that's good. So this is 506 Boston Post Road. It's on the corner of Cherry Lane and Boston Post Road, the southeast corner. They've come before us several times in the past year and a half or so with work that they've been doing. Boston Post Road here is at the bottom of the screen here. They've added an addition and a little bridge to the back and added the stairwell that we talked about previously. And they have 2 condensers that they want to add in this location adjacent to the stair, kind of down the hill, slightly from the front of the house, adjacent to this stone wall. I think it was important that they come before us only because this is a change to their application previously, and it is visible from a public way, at least marginally visible. Although I think it's reasonably well screened, protected by just being slightly lower on the hillside, and kind of on the side there. So they're asking our approval for this location. And I don't know, I don't have any big objections. It seems a relatively, reasonable place to be putting this under the circumstances of their property. Anyone have any questions or thoughts about that?
Could we suggest that they shield it a little bit with some plantings on the Boston Post roadside, or?
Yeah, I think there is some planting, a little bit of planting there now.
Yeah, I see a bush or something.
Right, yeah. But you're right, that's a good question. I don't know quite the extent of the planting there. I don't recall.
I drove by it today, and you're right, John, it's built, they're proposing down a hill a little bit from the post road, but from Cherry Lane, it'll be very visible. It will be slightly visible, I think, from the post road as you're driving by. I was thinking there's a lot of space out back. Can't they put it somewhere else? Because it is visible from the street, I think. And while Cherry Lane is a private lane, I think it still will be slightly visible. So maybe they could screen it somehow.
What is in front of that rock wall? Is that
That's a walkway underneath.
okay? So you
between the
can't
garage.
plant anything in front of it. Then the plantings
No.
would have to be on the back side, is what you're saying, right?
On the front side, yes.
Or okay, front, yeah, front side.
Yeah, so we're looking at the west side of the house. So the post road
Yes.
is to the left or north in this picture.
Can you see that image? Can you see
I
the
wonder
street
if
view? Or-
there's an elevation reason as to why they have it there rather than, in the backyard. But it would make sense to put it someplace not quite as visible.
Well,
Does it? Yeah, but maybe it relates to where it comes out from the house.
Yes, that could be.
You may not. What's the application for those condensers, John? Do you know? What is it being used
it's for the air conditioning system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That actually tells more of a story. And
Yeah. So
that
you
photo
can see that.
says to me that I don't have a lot to say about this.
Yeah. So as you can see here, this predates any of the construction work that they've been doing. But Cherry Lane is here to the right. This photograph is taken from Boston Post Road. There's a white fence here, which is approximately where that new staircase is that goes up to the second floor. So that sits here. There's a large tree here. And so the condensers are going to be behind that tree and down the hill slightly.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not terribly worried about this. I'm not sure that we can regulate views from Cherry Lane anyway. It's a private road, right? It's not a public
Yeah,
road.
I'm not sure about that.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably true.
If that's the case, then I have absolutely no objection to this thing.
yeah, that puts a different perspective on it from this view.
Yeah, I think that was good. It'd be nice if you had a more current photograph, but
It almost looks as though Cherry Lane has been repaved since this photo.
yeah, it looks like this
Quite
might
old.
have been after a storm or something because there's
Yes.
a lot of trees,
A lot of
tree and
debris.
debris on Cherry Lane, and not quite sure when this is from, but the stair's not in this photograph, but the garage and looks like that little bridge connecting the garage to the main house has been constructed or is at least in construction at this point. Yeah, my sense is it's really not going to be that visible from Boston Post Road. I
Mhm.
mean, we can ask them to, provide, can they please provide some landscaping to shield it additionally. Um, but uh, but that's,
That's over and
that's,
above, you think, maybe, huh?
yeah, and it's not something, it's not really in our purview to talk too much about landscaping.
Mhm.
Because it can go away over, eventually, whether
Right.
it dies or be removed or something like that. Um, so, but we could ask them as a courtesy if they would be willing to, you know, ensure that there's some landscaping to screen it from the Boston Post Road view.
Mhm.
But it's really just a kind of a suggestion is how you're framing it, John, right?
Yeah, because I'm not sure we can, because it's landscaping. I'm not sure I don't think we can require that because that doesn't really fall under our purview.
Right.
We've had the issue about landscaping on a couple other projects, like Bill McCutcheon's house when he was trying to add a generator at his property a couple of years back. There's some discussion about the landscaping, but we really can't, we don't have purview over landscaping per se. At least plants per se. Built hardscape is a little different, but plants we really don't fall in our purview.
I'd be willing to approve this as it is, with or without that landscaping. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I agree.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Sure.
I just want to just remind you, this is not technically an application. This is a discussion because the architect did not ask about these condensers. They were not included in the original application. So we have to decide whether you want to just let it be as is, or if you'd like to see these condensers for an application.
Yeah, it's a
You
good
wanted
point.
them included in the original approval of the whole project.
Yeah. So I guess, Maria, my thought is it should be added to the existing application
Okay.
Mhm.
as a component, and our sort of action today would be to say yes, we're okay with this, or
Okay.
no, we're not quite okay with it.
Okay.
So if that makes sense to you, I think that's the way to proceed with this one.
Yeah, I missed I just wasn't sure if you can, do a motion on something that's not technically wasn't an application, but if you're agreeing to add it to, you can, I guess, motion it any way you want. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it wasn't an official application. It was a discussion.
Right.
To add it to the original application.
Yeah. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go back to being quiet.
No, you're fine.
Thanks for
We
that
appreciate your
clarification.
input. Any time for future reference you have other inputs, don't hesitate to speak up. We appreciate it. So I guess I would move that we add the condensers to the current application that's on file and approve the proposed location with the suggestion of adding some planting to obscure it more fully from Route 1.
Is that a motion? You want a second?
Yeah, that's a motion.
I second.
All right.
Okay. Any further comment on that, or? All right, well, let's vote on the motion to add this to the application and approve the proposed location with the recommendation of adding some additional planting to further screen it from Route 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Okay. All right. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the minutes from November. And there were a couple things actually on that that I think we should talk about. So this is the, oh, can you see my screen still? With the minutes?
No,
Oh,
No,
No, okay. Um,
we all should have a copy of them anyway.
yeah.
Oh, there.
now can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So the minutes from November 22nd, couple things that I wanted to bring up on this one. As far as present, Peter was not present, so he is still on our commission, so he should be listed there as not present. Let's see, so on 498 Boston Post Road, which is actually just down the street from this house, a couple
Right.
doors down at the corner there of across from the country club. We talked about some changes that they were proposing with their driveway primarily and some landscaping, a little bit of landscaping related stuff and entrance gate posts. So far, it does not look like they've come back to us with anything on a gate or gate posts. So that remains, if they want to do that, they'll need to come back, and so far they've not. So just about that. And then, but the other thing I really wanted to talk about for a minute was item 3, 7 Waterbury Avenue. This was the whole roof issue. That they had gone ahead and taken off the existing roof and started installing a brand new roof on their house. And we kind of, after talking to them for a while, we kind of agreed that what they were proposing was going to be okay, but they still need to submit a certificate, apply for a certificate of appropriateness to formalize that and finalize that, because this was not an application that we had received formally previously. So far, they've not done that. So I think that's a problem. And I guess the question is what
Picking up.
should
are
we
they
do about
aware,
that?
are they aware that?
We got
that-
one
that-
just before we left for Christmas.
Oh,
Okay.
She brought one by just before we closed at noon on the 23rd.
Okay.
She did not pay for it yet. So I have reached out for her that she does owe a fee.
Okay.
But they did drop one off. And I did explain to her that this is only going to cover the portion that was done supposedly in a quote emergency situation.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
They
right.
will have to go back when they finish, the back half is a whole different,
Hmm.
actually, I think they did the application to include the emergency roof repair and the remainder of the roof.
Okay.
So that will be seen at next month.
In January. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So if they've done that, then they're
In the 11th hour, just before we closed for and we were closed yesterday, so
right.
I picked this back up again today.
Okay. So they're moving forward. So
Yes.
we can just let the process carry through then, and
Yes,
we'll talk about it next month. Okay.
Okay, now I'm back to quiet again. Okay, bye.
No, I appreciate that, because that's again very helpful information. That was really what I wanted to discuss in this. Does anyone have any other comments about the minutes themselves?
Mm.
no.
No.
Okay. All right. So we should we'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written with the exception that Peter Clement should be added to the members absent list. So that's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written with the one addition of Peter Clement as absent member, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Okay. All right. That's it. That's all we have on the agenda for tonight. Does anyone have any other things they would like to bring up and discuss during our meeting today?
Just curious, are we, is Denny Van Loo approved yet to join our commission, or what's going on with that? Anybody know?
I traded emails with Denny. He was supposed to be on an earlier Board of Selectmen meeting, but for whatever reason, it did not happen. His nomination was not brought up. I don't know if it was left off the agenda or taken off the agenda for time or other priorities. I'm not sure. He reached out to Ron Clark, and I've not heard back what the response was on that. So we're waiting to hear. I know he's actually out of the country at the moment, in England, or at least he was as of a day or two ago. I assume he still is. So I'm sure we'll hear back from him once he comes back from his travels.
Okay. Just curious.
It says here that Carol is an alternate. I thought that she was a regular member.
No, I'm still an alternate.
You still are. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because she left us for a little while.
Right.
I'm being punished for going to Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly.
As you should be.
Yeah,
Right.
great.
John, I was wondering if you've heard anything more about the general's residence, the structure, the replica.
So good question. So we sent to Duo a list of comments on his draft drawings. This would have been, I'm thinking early December, although I'd have to look it up I don't remember exactly when that was. And they, Duo acknowledged receiving them at the time, but I've not heard anything more on that or seen anything more on that since. So I don't know what the status is on that. I would imagine he would have or is going to update his drawings to reflect many of the comments, or if not all the comments that were made. And then the developers, and then discuss it with developers and see whether or not they have any objections to any of the comments or not, or or perhaps he's discussed it with them prior to making changes to the drawings. I'm not sure, but I've not heard any news either way about other than they received the comments. So I don't know. I guess I can follow up and see if there's any news on that. Drop him an email and check in.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Can we have a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor of adjourning the Historic District Commission meeting of Tuesday, December 28th at 7:36 p.m. say aye.
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 Those opposed? That's unanimous. This meeting is adjourned. And Tom, we're rolling into your meeting. Is that correct?
There we are, and it's going to be, I believe, rather quick, so that's good.
Okay.
I have a question. Does anyone know how Peter Clemens or deals with Peter Clemens? How is he doing either way?
Haven't
I
heard
heard it. I could try to reach out to Gary, drawing a blank now.
I believe
Very loud.
he had a hip replacement
Oh,
on the 20th. And I haven't called Vicky yet to see how he's doing, but he is at home.
okay.
Okay. Well, I guess if he's having a hip replacement, that's good news, right?
Yes.
We,
Assuming the surgery went well.
no one was sure, other than we knew he was home, and no one was really sure what his ailment was. So I guess a hip is better than maybe a heart or something else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anyone hears anything, let us know. As Eric said, not knowing what his ailments were, didn't want to pester him.
Right.
So, but hip sounds better than what things could have been, I suppose.
Exactly.
So, all right. All right, Tom, it's up to you.
All set? Okay. I'm going to call to order the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee on December the 28th at 7:38. And for the purposes of the recording, we'll all identify ourselves. I'm Tom Boyle.
Susan Cartledge.
Carol Snow?
Eric Berg.
John Lind.
All righty. So this will be quick and dirty, and mostly this will be Carol Snow's meeting, I think.
No.
I got your email today, actually, Carol. So I'm going to let you talk after. I have one question, but you go first. Hey, John, can you take your stuff off the screen?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sure.
Oh, no trouble.
Yep. Well, so I pestered Erin Mannix again about the status of our grant application to the state, and she very kindly responded today, sharing with us that she started taking the draft materials that I had sent her and inserting them into the actual grant application. So she's made some good progress. And Tom, I don't know if you want to share it with everybody. At this stage, it's still sort of a work in progress. So I don't know, maybe it will get submitted by the end of January. I'm just guessing. And it officially goes out of Peggy Lyons's office with her signature on it, I believe. So, but we're making progress.
Yeah, no, I have read it with great interest, and I thought it was very well done. So am I the only one that has seen that, Carol? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you're the only one. I was kind of leaving it up to you as chair of how widely to distribute it. And also because I think at our last meeting, it was really just my draft, or the last time we talked about it was my draft. So now it's Erin plugging it into the form, and she's asking for also if there's any feedback or if she needs to make any revisions, we should let her know. So I think it'd be great to share what she's done so far.
Right. It looked to me like she just basically did a cover sheet for it. Am I right about that?
Well, she's kind of copied and pasted it into the application form, I think. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any problem with sharing that. And maybe somebody will come up with, I mean, I read through it and it looked fine to me. But I'm sure I don't have any problem with sharing that at any time. So you can do that, Carol, if you don't mind.
Okay. I'll send it off
that'd
to
be
everybody.
great. Everybody can take a look. If you've got any comments, just send them to everybody so that I can see them as well as Carol.
Yep.
But I mean, it looked fine to me. My question, Carol, was, is the grant coming from SHPO because we are a certified local government? Is that how it's working?
Yeah, I mean, the particular grant that we're applying for is one that's available to certified local government towns. And so, yeah, it goes through SHPO, and then it goes to a preservation council, which votes, I think, on the first Wednesday of each month.
Okay.
So these are rolling deadlines for these grant applications.
Okay.
And
I just was a little confused about the actual, the nomenclature there. I didn't quite understand. So that's fine. So if it happens and it's approved, does that funding go through the town then?
I believe it goes from the town to us because we are also town.
Okay,
Um,
okay. 'Cause
yeah.
we don't have a checking account is all I'm thinking.
Right. And, we've never done this before. This
Right.
is sort of new. And, I think this is good practice on a sort of smaller grant. And then, we can flex our muscles maybe a little bit more and apply for bigger grants in the future.
Sure.
Is there a specific monetary amount, or is it a grant and then you get what's available? How does that work, Carol?
We're applying for 4,500, which is the amount that, the difference that
The half. Okay.
yeah, that we think the project will cost, and the Historical Society has generously funded 4,000 already.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That
But
was
it-
my only question. No, I think we're just moving along here. It's really kind of out of our hands at this point. It's
Yeah.
got to be done by the town planner and sent over, and then I know you'll stay on top of it because I've watched you do that so far, and I'm impressed with that. So, no,
I
that's great.
kindly
That's
check
really
in
great
with
news.
Aaron when I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So everything else on the agenda really follows this. We can't really do too much until this grant is approved. I forgot to mention to talk to James Sexton about this. I sent him a email today, and I haven't heard back from him. I just sent him. I want to talk to him on the phone and not do this on an email. So, but as we discussed last time, I am going to mention that he is really going to be the person. If you could keep it, just between us right now. But I want to kind of hold him for this thing because it is going to happen at some point, and then I want to make sure that he knows it's coming up for him, kind of. And I'll follow up on that myself. The only other things I've got to do are just, again, change some names again because properties keep selling on the post road. So I've got another 3 or 4 to put in, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'll update our list, and I'll have Eric Axberg update our map, so we'll have all that in place. And then as soon as we get this, we are assured of the funding, a letter will go out, and we will start the big process of getting everybody on board again, which is going to be hard work. So I'm ready to do that, and it's gonna take some effort, I think. Just given the fact that when we started this, the political climate was different than it is now, so I'm a little concerned about that. But we're just going to push this thing as hard as we can. That's all we can do.
I have a question.
Oh.
And do we have to vote on it? I think you and I had spoken earlier because I wasn't sure about what happened with the meeting. I thought it was last night, but that's another issue. But do we have to vote that Sexton's our guy as a committee, or is it just that's what will happen? Is
I
that the
recall that
sense?
we already did make that. We already did vote.
We did that,
Maybe
didn't
we're
we?
making a formal
Okay, so
vote.
I must not have been there then somehow. I don't remember, but that's
No,
okay.
you could be right. We talked about it and we all agreed, but maybe I didn't make it a formal vote, which I'm more than happy to do.
No, not a problem. I just wondered if he's the guy, then that's fine.
Yeah, no, let's vote on that. I'll make a motion right now that I'd like to have James Sexton do this report for us. I think he is the right person to do it. He's also the least expensive, and I think he has probably more experience in this town than any of the other ones that we asked. So I would love to have him do it, and I'm more than happy to make that a formal vote. So that was a long motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor of to do this final report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's unanimous, and I will make that call to him. Just tell him exactly where we are on this thing. That it is not yet, we can't yet formally do it because we don't have the absolute funding done, but where we are with it, so we can at least hold his time to this thing, and I will do that. So like I say, everything else that we need to do is really dependent on this final bit of funding approval. And I'm still working on the map and the inventory, and we'll continue to do that. But we can't really do much, and that letter really shouldn't go out until we have this final thing. So
Hey,
that
Tom.
letter is kind of ready to go. Go ahead. Did you have something, John?
Yeah, a quick question. So, do we pay Jim Sexton when he's completed, or is there a retainer fee and and pay some up front, pay some at the end, or how's that set up?
He had a whole schedule for it in his proposal, which I
Okay.
will share with you again. That made perfect sense to me. In
Okay.
And
terms
actually,
of, you know, go ahead.
I got folded into the grant so that when I send out the draft, everybody can see that schedule.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I was just wondering if it
whole-
makes sense to get Jim started now. If, the Historic Society is committed, the $4,000, that's almost 50%
Good-
of the
good
total,
point.
and he could get
Yeah.
started potentially sooner rather than waiting for the whole funding to come through on the
Mhm.
expectation that the rest of the funding will come through.
Yeah, there's
I'm
a
nervous
little
about doing
risk.
that.
Yeah.
Aha.
Because I just
Well,
don't know
that-
what are the odds of the funding happening or not. I mean, I'm
That's
an amateur at this.
That's a good
Okay.
point.
Yeah, that would be my only reason not to do it. Is that
Yeah.
Carol, is there a time frame or has our submission early in the process with respect to other grants? What are your thoughts?
There's no deadline. And, I was kind of hoping we could have gotten the application in before the end of the year, but it's a rolling application process. So I think once SHPO receives it, then whenever they meet again with their Preservation Council, they vote on it at their next meeting, which is as I understand it, is once a month on the first Wednesday of each month. So I don't know if you saw I think it was in the Shoreline Times, Clinton got a nice grant from them to do a bigger preservation study. And there was a photograph of Lobster Landing.
Did see it,
Yes,
yeah.
I saw that. Yes.
So I thought, okay, great. Well, let's hope there's still some money. And, and ours is a much smaller grant. So,
Well, that's the good news. This is not a huge amount of money, and
Right.
we do have funding for half of it or nearly half of it. So I feel good about it, but I would hate to start without knowing for sure, honestly. Unless somebody, if you think differently, tell me.
Good point. No, it isn't over until it's over, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear.
Okay. No, and I agree with that. I mean, if we can wait another month, I mean, I don't know how this works. They will. So what's the earliest date that you think they might approve it, Carol?
I was hoping it was going to be November or December already, but I think the very earliest would be February.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're just going to have to cool our heels for another 30 or 45 days until we hear, and then we'll go forward as I didn't care up until now, to be honest with you anyway, because I doing any of this stuff before or during the holiday season didn't seem to make any sense to me.
I agree.
January, February, now we can get started, and that seems to me to be a better time. COVID
Okay.
is not certainly cooperating with any of these efforts, but
Right.
hopefully most of this stuff can happen over the phone, I'm hoping.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Makes sense.
Anything else that anybody has? Oh, we have we do have minutes, so we should review those. And I can't put them on the screen because I don't have them on screen. Can you do that, Maria?
Yep, 1 sec.
Oh, thanks. I can tell you that I've just read them for the second time. I have no issues with anything on these minutes.
I agree.
I agree.
So I think we should get a motion to approve the minutes as they're written, unless there is anybody that does have an issue.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
A second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. The minutes are approved as they are written. any other business that anybody else has regarding the Old Elm Street Historic District? Then I think we are ready to adjourn.
Great.
Anybody give me a motion?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned as of 7:52 on Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Happy New
holiday,
Year.
everybody, or the
Happy New Year,
Year.
everyone.
remainder of it.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing better, Carol.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Goodness, Carol, that's big. That's not good news, but good news that you look terrific. You know, you
Thank
look
you.
like you're mending well.
I'm happy to share the emergency room pictures, but you don't want to see them.
Nor do you want to hear about emergency room. It's no fun.
Hey, Maria, quick question for you before we get off the line. For meetings, our meeting schedule for 2022, do we need to do anything for that, or are we good with the fourth Monday of the month?
Yes, I
unless it's
do have
holiday?
one. If you want me to email it to you and you can pass it on. We did draft one because we had to get them into the town clerk's office. So it's meeting the same. Actually, hold on. I think I can bring it up on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, send it, because I put those right in my bulletin board.
Let's take a look.
It does help.
I don't know if anything changed, adjusted. One did adjust again
Okay.
because of Christmas. And there you go.
Oh, perfect.
So we are zooming through April, and then May we go back in person. That's
Okay.
the plan.
Oh wow.
As you know, it's always subject to change.
Yeah.
Maria, could you email those to us? Is that an easy thing to do?
Yep, I'll email it to John and he can pass it on to you all. I
Right,
don't have
great.
everybody's email address.
Great.
Well, I
Thank you.
must, but yes, I don't have you in a queue. And I can email it right now.
That's good.
All right,
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Appreciate that.
And then Old Elm Street is, I can do both, but it's obviously the same.
Yeah, just 7:30
Yeah.
instead of 7, right?
Okay.
Perfect.
Fantastic. All right, we'll have a happy new year, everyone.
You
Happy
too.
New
Safe, be
Year.
safe, be safe.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe.
Yep.
Yeah. Get your tests.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.